think at the startup stage, I think the founders themselves should also always do pre-sales.
All the roles
Yeah.
founders have to do.
Of course, yes. Especially pre-sales, right? Because you never know what doesn't sell if you delegate somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah,
You've got to do it yourself, right?
yeah, true.
Even the tech product being really good, but what really closes a sale or what really makes the sale happen is the people,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Is the ability to sit across and say, look, you can trust me. Like I can help you in your career. 2 months of intensive preparation that had gone in, and then one of the days when there was a long day of studying, and then I was feeling exhausted. So my wife called me in and said, "Look, let's just have some tea, right? Take a break." So then we took a break, and we were having coffee and whatnot, and we were just having a chat, and then suddenly something struck her, I think, and then she asked this question: "So what if you don't get posted in Tamil Nadu cadre?" Governance space, because I was strongly, of the belief that what India was lacking at that time was good governance, right? Corruption-free governance, in a way that was able to deliver benefits to people in shape and form that they were promised.
And if you're taking certain decisions which are good for the society, and I don't know whether I should say it in public or not, but you have a lot of enemies and the transfers and all those things, like world comes against. So today with me on What It Really Takes, I have Rangarajan Vasudevan, who is the co-founder of Lentra.ai, and talking about his journey. He did his studies from IIT Madras and University of Michigan. And not only that, since then he was completely into data-driven solutions, building the intelligence out of the data. With that, he started off with his career at Ester Data and Teradata, building patented algorithms for the enterprises, which is still being used rapidly. And not only that, he then took a leap and started off with the TheDataTeam in the bootstrapping mode, which is said to be AI first company. And along with that, he generated Cadenz.ai, which is market's first customer intelligence solution. And now, apart from being the co-founder at Lentra.ai, which is providing data solutions for fintech, he's also mentoring students of IIT Madras in for big data solutions as well as machine learning. And he's also working for the purpose, why he's doing what he's doing, why intersecting tech with non-profit space, where he's silently working and creating a prototype and plan to help the NGOs with the tech infusion. Thank you so much, Ranga, for being on What It Really Takes. I'm really, really grateful.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Ranga. So, Ranga, let's I'm so curious to ask you so many things, but let's start from the beginning, when you were in IIT Madras. You already had this mindset, you want to start something of your own. What kind of psychology or mindset you had when it comes to you want to do something?
I don't think I had any ideas of starting anything in college, at least.
Okay.
College was more like let's swim along with the mainstream. At that time, I didn't really think many years ahead. And even at IIT, I was an average student. I was not the top of class or anything like that.
Seriously?
So, yeah,
It doesn't look like.
For whatever it's worth, yeah. So the one college I got an admit into in the US was Michigan. So went there, and even there, I think I finally found a bit of interest in one specific topic of computer science called as network security.
Okay.
So I was doing some bit of work around denial of service attacks and how do you prevent that. Got a very good advisor. The advisor was also working in collaborations with AT&T Labs, which is one of the best labs at that time. It was nearing its it's later days at that time. Like it used to be even better before, but it was still having some very good researchers. So we were doing some early work in AT&T's own telecom data to detect denial of service attacks, and that was my earliest exposure to very large scale data processing.
Oh, okay.
But even then,
like a project internship or sort of thing?
It was actually my entire PhD topic itself.
Oh,
right.
okay.
It became into a PhD topic. It started off with a research paper. Started off with a summer internship, but then started becoming more serious. And they also thought that this topic required a lot of work, and they found a nice student who was willing to work his, work his behind off, right? So I worked really hard on it for 2 years, and then for whatever reason, there was a turn in the fortune, so to speak, right? I'd worked really hard to get to a certain stage. Like in PhD life, you have to reach this particular milestone called candidacy. And once you became a candidate is when you become eligible to do serious research and then publish, and then you defend your thesis. That's how the progression is. And usually the candidacy milestone is reached after few years of trying, because it takes that time to arrive at a topic and so on. In my case, I didn't even have a master's per se. I just did a integrated program, and then at the end of 2 years, I'd finished my master's and also reached my candidacy milestone.
Oh my God, within 2 years?
Within 2 years. It wasn't planned that way. It just happened because the problem statement was very pressing, and then everybody liked it, etc. So having reached this milestone so early, I thought I deserved a break. So I said, let's actually go back and spend a few weeks in India, because it's been 2 years since I saw my parents, and I thought it was genuinely a good time to take a break. And I told my advisor about that, and she was very supportive. So I came back. That was my first, I would say, exposure of the non-profit sector. So I spent about 5 weeks here in India, in Chennai, that is, and started talking to a lot of IAS officers, because some part of me at that time itself started to feel that I was doing something too esoteric. So that was one itch I was having at that time. I started to scratch that itch by talking to some IAS officers, and wanted to understand how do they go about their lives, how do they find purpose, etc. I had not found purpose, but I knew what I was doing was not purpose. So that much could be said. But 5 weeks was too short a time, I think, to make anything meaningful. So went back, and that's when I realized my advisor had actually cut my funding for that 5 weeks.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. That was a shock to me. And I asked her why that was the case, and she said, you went on leave for 5 weeks, so how can I pay you? I was taken aback. I was asking her, look, all the winter breaks, all the summer breaks I worked, and all the mandatory 40 hours of work that I was supposed to do per week, I clocked that, and I clocked more. Like I did more, like 80 hours, and sometimes even 100 hours a week. And none of that counted to you. Why would this count, right? On the negative side. And she just couldn't give an explanation. In hindsight, I think I justified it as I was her first PhD student, so probably she was still getting her managerial act together. But that was a complete blow in terms of trust. And that's when I realized I had to move out very quickly, because I couldn't, meaningfully state that even if I really solve that PhD problem, that she would be willing to let me go, right? And willing to let me defend my thesis and move on. I'd lost that trust.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, once you lose that trust,
it's very hard to get back, right?
Yeah.
It was not about the finances at all, because as a PhD candidate, you don't get much money anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's just enough money to make ends meet. But you don't hit a person below the belt like that, right? It just doesn't make sense.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So I hurriedly looked for a job, not as though I was, planning for it for a long time. And at that time in the US, there was this website called Craigslist. At that time, it was still used for searching for jobs, apart from a lot of other things. Later on, the joke was that website degenerated into like a poor man's Tinder, right? And lots of other shady things. So people used to joke that the only employee that we, in the company that I worked in, Aspirations, they used to joke that the only employee we got through Craigslist was Ranga, right? But yeah, I applied for the job posting, I knew I didn't want to work in a big company setting because it felt like I'm just one poor managerial decision away from losing trust again.
Right?
True. And then, so I said, okay, let's work in a startup and see how it is.
Oh, okay.
So that was serendipity. So joining Data as a founding engineer. But then from then, I think I realized that whatever I learned in big data processing can be used for designing large-scale databases. And that's what I did there. And that felt very good. But then that itch of, building tech, which was too esoteric, that just continued. So then I said, let me, try out something else. In a couple of years, I think I kind of did what you did, which is move away from tech into sales. I would say pre-sales, right?
Yeah, okay.
Where you start consulting with...
The consultant, that was in Teradata.
That was...
it is acquired, right?
Yeah, exactly. Towards the latter half of Data itself.
Okay.
Before Teradata acquired, I'd moved on to the pre-sales role.
Oh.
Because I thought building tech was just too esoteric, and it was just, it's like chipping away at the top of a pyramid, which nobody else sees, right?
Okay.
I wanted to be more on the ground and, started to do more field work. And that is something I felt was much more exciting. So that transition happened then. I think you went through the same transition, right?
It's fun. It's not fun. It is adventurous. Like, what is your skill and how much you can do it. It's
very exciting to solve problems directly, right? Where, at least in my case, I felt that when I first started to solve a problem and the outcome was very tangible, that gratification was a lot more, impactful and meaningful for me than building tech for tech's sake.
Okay, got it. So, what do you think, the responsibility of the pre-sales guy should be exactly? When a company trusts someone that, you do the pre-sales for me, exactly, it is all about solving problems, then selling.
Exactly, yeah, correct. And I think at the startup stage, I think the founders themselves should also always do pre-sales.
All the roles founders have to do.
Of course, yes. Especially pre-sales, right? Because you never know what doesn't sell if you delegate somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah.
You've got to do it yourself, right?
Yeah, true.
And it's like, I think in the early stages, there's no pre-sales versus sales, right? It's just all sales at the end of the day, right? There's no marketing also, in my view. It's all just sales.
It's all just sales and...
You've got to make the revenue. Yeah. Anyway, coming back to your question, I don't think even at that time, it was clear to me that I needed to start something, but this itch of trying to do something good was there, but I didn't know what form and shape it would take. But but what I knew I was good at is what I could continue meaningfully, because I needed to make my ends meet, right? I need to make some money and make a living. So with Data, that I continued to do what I was good at, which is big data processing. That turned out to be good. The sales parts turned out to be really good.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we locked some marquee deals and so on. So then when the TheData acquisition happened, I negotiated two things. One, I negotiated a leave of absence for some time because I wanted a break again, because it was again close to 5 years of slogging.
Seriously?
In a startup without a serious break. Like every year I would take maybe a week off to do some trekking or mountaineering.
Okay.
But that's about it. So then I took a good 11-month sabbatical. That was one negotiated point. The other point was I said I'm going to go back to India because I never felt at home in the US.
Okay.
I think that at that time at least there was this, there's still this love affair with, people with the means to, emigrate into the US and make a living, right?
Right now also it's a kind of people love to go, but then after living there, you get to know.
Yeah, for me at least it wasn't, it never felt like home.
Okay.
Right? In fact, I don't think anything else felt like home because after coming back, I joined TheData as our international region consultant for big data. So that
from India?
From India.
Oh.
Like as in, I worked from Chennai.
Okay.
But officially, my boss was an Australian. He was in Sydney. We were part of BD role, business development role across the entire international region. So the travel was just non-stop.
Oh.
I loved it though. Really liked the ability to go different countries and see for myself what those countries offered in terms of both work and non-work, right? But never did I feel home, right? I never felt home in any of those places. Anyway, that experience was really good because it taught me that the problem statements everywhere were very similar.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
Especially in enterprise sales.
Uh-huh.
People want to be told what the solution is. Like even though they think they know the solution. And in most cases,
a second opinion.
They need a second opinion. They need an expert opinion in most cases.
Yeah.
And in almost all cases, we see that tech sales is people driven. That's one thing I learned, right?
Okay.
So that was my earliest, I would say lesson in terms of building a B2B company, right? The tech might be superb, the marketing might be superb, but I guess that those things only get you like a foot in the door or good at conversation starting.
The marketing and tech?
Marketing and even the tech product being really good. But what really closes a sale or what really makes the sale happen is the people.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Is the ability to sit across and say, look, you can trust me. Like I can help you in your career.
Okay.
Right? That kind of a confidence comes from having people across who have been there, who have done that, and who have seen that kind of a career growth happen. Because in most cases, it's one career manager who's taking their career on a product.
Yeah.
Right? They're not really. It's not a company buying from a company.
Yes.
So that message really came through in that spell of working with Teradata.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there were deals in Teradata where literally you closed it because of the trust they had in you, and not like the company per se, but that trust and confidence they had in you.
Yeah, there were deals like that as well. There were also deals where, for instance, some of my sales counterparts were extremely good in what they do. Like, for instance, they are domain experts in financial services and so on. And they closed multi-million-dollar deals, right?
Okay.
It wouldn't have been possible without that person being on the ground.
Oh.
I mean, that's what I saw directly, right? To be able to communicate in the language in which the client is speaking, right? Yeah. Especially that particular decision maker is speaking, is a very, very important skill.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So then, that was in Teradata.
That was in Teradata. And then, okay, so we'll have to go back to the original itch that was, starting to get scratched a little bit. So this is back in 2014. I'd worked in Teradata for a couple of years. At that time, made my mark and I became a director and whatnot. That's when the central government, they made an announcement in India saying that they are relaxing the age limit for people who could take the UPSC exam to basically 32.
Okay.
And I not yet hit 32 at that time. I was actually going to hit 32 later that year. So for some reason, I thought that was a divine sign. I'm not a believer myself, but I thought there was a divine sign that this was the calling for me, right? This was something I'd always thought I wanted to do, and now this has opened up as an avenue, as an opportunity for me. So I should absolutely explore this. So my daughter had been born at that time, like she was about 2, but my wife still felt that if not now, then when, right? So she said, absolutely, you should pursue this. So then I went and resigned my job in Teradata.
Oh.
And
to pursue UPSC.
To pursue UPSC.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Started studying for it. So you can imagine 10th standard economics, 12th standard biology, and all kinds of things which I never, really paid attention to back then. Or we just mugged up, right, for the sake of mugging up. I again started mugging up, and there were like 2 months of, intensive preparation that had gone in. And then one of the days when there was a long day of, studying, and then I was feeling exhausted. So my wife called me in and said, look, let's just have some tea, right? Take a break. So then we took a break and we were having coffee and whatnot, and we were just having a chat. And then suddenly something struck her, I think. And then she asked this question. So what if you don't get posted in Tamil Nadu cadre? Like that's a real possibility.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I think that never crossed my mind. Maybe because I was feeling too full of myself after having cracked JEE, right?
Oh.
I thought, that would never happen, right? I would be able to do this well. But then she again asked, like, yeah, sure, that's hoping for the best, but what if that's not the case? What if you get posted in, let's say, like a state in the north or state in the east where it's not your native tongue? And I said, yeah, why not? Maybe I'll give it a shot. Then she said, yeah, it's quite likely that neither me nor Pragya, our daughter, will come if that happens, right? Is that okay with you? That's when it hit me, right? That maybe it might not be as rosy as it seems.
Yeah.
I was prepared for some of it because the earlier conversations I'd had with the like 12 odd IAS officers in that 5-week window, that opened up a lot of, ground realities of what's possible. So that I was prepared for from a mental side. On the professional perspective for me, like I know what it would take to say no to bribes or stand tall ethically. But on the personal front, having to sacrifice from a family perspective is something that never struck me, because I always thought I'll be in Tamil Nadu somewhere.
Oh.
Like mentally.
But did you research about what if like you become an IAS officer? How is the life for other IAS officers?
Yeah. I'd done a fair bit of research at that time, like even before that as well.
So there were like cases like this where they get transferred, or they have to serve at a particular cities and all those things, which is not...
Yeah, usually what happens is, even when there are transfers, it happens within the cadre, within the, for instance, Tamil Nadu region. If you get posted in Tamil Nadu in the beginning, like even if you get transferred because somebody doesn't like you, it's usually within Tamil Nadu.
Oh, okay.
That's how it is, like until a position of seniority. Okay. And I was mentally prepared for it. I said, yeah, I know Tamil, I can of course work my way around. But then if the entire thing happens in a different setting, like in a different state which is not my mother tongue.
That was a possibility.
That was a possibility I'd never entertained.
Okay.
Like as foolish as it sounds. Then it struck me that maybe I shouldn't have resigned TheDataTeam at that time. I was like, okay, a foolish decision has been taken.
Oh my God.
Now let's do something about this. So then we both decided that what's the second best option? Second best option is to do what we are good at. So my wife was also a trained data scientist.
Oh, wow.
Converted into a business development executive. She had worked with a startup in analytics, and then she worked with latent view analytics as well. So we said, okay, why don't we do what's something that we are good at, which is start a company in analytics and see how it goes.
Okay.
So that's how the entrepreneurship journey started. Serendipity.
Oh my God.
Long story short to your initial question. Yeah.
And you also left being an IAS officer because of, as in, it's a hard decision to make.
It's a hard decision to make.
And that too for a year you studied for it.
Right? For 4 months intensively, but it felt like 2 years. Yeah. 4 months of intense study.
But what if you wouldn't have got in the... Didn't you feel like you want to take a risk? What if you become the IAS officer and you would have got Tamil Nadu? There's a possibility.
There's a possibility, correct. So that part of me never got satisfied. Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So if you get an opportunity or maybe a calling that, universe is sending you signal, maybe that related to IAS, you start seeing something of that sort, would you mind giving it a shot now? Is it possible in the first place?
Yeah, I think
this age?
Maybe a couple of things, right? One, I think I'm scratching that itch in a different way, which is that non-profit work.
Yeah.
But whether I could actually have the impact that I would have had if I had written it and I'd become successful, I'd gotten chosen in a certain way, and if all of those things went as per my ideal plan, I think that impact would have been significantly more, because all said and done in a country like India, a civil services officer has that much more command, right?
Yeah.
In terms of ability to get things done than a private individual, in my view. So yeah, so that part I'll never be able to see, I think. Yeah.
Okay, got it. We'll come to that part later.
Yeah, we'll come to that part later.
That is a journey.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to know why you wanted to do UPSC and become an IAS officer. Like, what was the core reason behind it? You want to go into civils?
Yeah, so I think I toyed with the idea of doing something non-profit for quite some time, even before that. Like even in that 11-month sabbatical between when Aspirations was acquired and when I joined TheDataTeam. In fact, I worked with a couple of NGOs in Bangalore, That was in 2011, both in the governance space, because I was strongly, of the belief that what India was lacking at that time was good governance, right? Corruption-free governance, in a way that was able to deliver benefits to people
Mm-hmm.
in the way and shape and form that they were promised,
Okay.
right?
Got
and,
it.
And if you look at it, even that problem still is there even today, right? There are so many promises made in every single elections.
But things
Like,
doesn't go that way.
None of
after
them
the
was
election.
actually trickled down, right? Either because there is no willpower to follow up on what needs to be delivered. Like most citizen population don't ask questions of their leaders, or even when they do, or even when the leaders mean something genuinely, it doesn't trickle down effectively.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It happens all the time. It happens even now, sadly. And I felt that part of it was a governance problem. So the more you digitize, the more you make the governance seamless, transparent, easy for people to come and ask questions and demand answers to, the better it is that eventually it will reach the people. So at that time, I was actually closely trying to work with startups in the e-governance space.
Okay.
But that didn't go very well for me personally, because I was used to a pace of working in a tech startup, which was Data, where that 5 years of my life felt like 20 years.
Okay.
Because I'd learned so much, but I'd also given so much of my life at that time.
Uh-huh.
I felt that is the pace at which things need to change.
Okay.
Especially the larger the problem, the larger the country that India is. But in non-profit space, it was exactly the opposite.
Very slow.
Very, very slow. Like orders of magnitude slower than tech startups. So I felt kind of bogged down by.
Got it. During that time.
So I said, man, this is not working for me.
Okay.
Right. And ultimately, I think what mattered to me was that passion linked with the ability to see the outcome. I felt that when that loop is closed, I excel as a person.
Yeah.
When the loop is not closed, I feel very removed.
Yes.
From what I'm doing is actually adding impact. I keep asking questions, self-doubt starts creeping in, right? So in those spheres where the loop is closed is where I do well, is what I found out.
Yes.
So that's when I realized that, okay, these non-profits are not cutting out for me.
Okay.
So that itch was there. I tried to scratch it, but that didn't work well.
Okay.
Then I thought, okay, UPSC was a good bet, because that was also something I'd explored back in the day. But now with this announcement that happened in 2014 by the central government, I thought it's finally giving me a chance to explore that.
Yeah.
Why UPSC? Because I thought it gives enough power, right? Where if you have the right, morality, for want of a better word, right? And there are enough problems, obviously, enough problems to solve at a local level, Zilla level, Panchayat level, whatever, right? If you have the right morality, right inclination, the power is also there.
You can do something for the good of the society.
And see for it yourself. Like even if you get transferred in 9 months, that's enough time.
Got it.
To see something done, right?
But oh my God, but Ranga, I think that was a good decision to not do UPSC, because more than morality and ethics, when you step into it, there's so much of corruption. And I have seen politics is all about corruption, right? And if you're taking certain decisions which are good for the society, and I don't know whether I should say it in public or not, but you have a lot of enemies, and the transfers and all those things, like world comes against you at the positions where you are, and it takes a lot of not only courage but sacrifices when it comes to family and a lot of things to
absolutely right.
Take those hard, to stick to the ground and not let people corrupt you or say no to their decisions. So that's a right question, I guess your wife would have asked during that time. So
I think we were never of doubt whether we would be needed to make sacrifices. I think that was understood, right? I don't think my wife never had a rosy picture of the life that it was. I think in hindsight, after having done the journey that I've done with TDT and with Lentra, I don't think there are any spheres of life where you follow something with passion and you wouldn't sacrifice anything, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Like you would have to
always.
sacrifice all the time,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because the moment you have a passion and you have a, you know, a
Strong purpose. I
strong
would say.
purpose and a strong way of doing things,
Yeah.
you will face obstacles. You'll
Oh, yes.
you'll face a lot of, doubt about how certain things are done. You'll have a lot of choices that you'll need to make.
Okay.
So I don't think sacrifices is the right, I think, rubric to, judge a particular stream. I would say passion should trump everything else.
Yeah.
Like, in the spirit with which you run the podcast, I think let's focus on the positives, right? I think we would absolutely, need to have the passion for doing something.
Oh, yes.
That's number one.
Yes.
And that automatically helps us tide over, the sacrifices, because those questions become secondary, right? Because it gives you a framework to think through, right? Am I passionate? Am I able to see the outcome, etc.? In my case, can I close the loop,
Yeah.
right? Can I not just do the work, but can I see the
Close the
outcome?
loop and solve the problems and
Solve the problem and see the
in
outcome
first
and
place.
get the
Yeah.
gratification and then
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
So that was also my critical part. And the third part is it ethically grounded to what I as a person believe in? That was also a critical part of my question. And then if the answer was yes, then obviously that gives me the basis for making a
The
choice.
right choice.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think in UPSC's case, I don't think I was under the delusion that I will only do good work. There's no doubt that
Yeah, that was for sure.
That was for sure.
Yes.
I think
we trust you so much in that case, because sorry to cut you off,
No,
but
talk off,
when it comes to ethics, morality, humility and all, I would say whoever has left TDT, right? Any person you name off, the early core people team, everyone is ethics first, giving first, morality first. You cannot do wrong. As in, I don't know, that is because of working with you and the kind of environment we had and the people we had never felt the same in any of the other companies. And in my office also, when I talk about ethics and all those things, I take your name, right? Like, how I have been my journey has been carved or shaped because of the ethical person and the mentor. And so that there's never a doubt in ethics. But what I was trying to make a point is, when you are so ethical, when you're so kind, when you're so humble, lot of challenging things comes to you. The other ways are the easy ways, but we, the people who have been from TDT and you being the source, there is no going here and there. It is always this, and because of which we get a lot of more challenges in our life. But at the end, we still stick to being ethical, and things work out. So in UPSC and being in IAS and being super ethical, then what you are best at, you thought of starting that, and
correct, that's how we started this. And then
how was the start?
The start was okay because
there's so many things to take care of. As in,
absolutely.
TheData, you were in Esther, you have done so many problem solving, you have met a lot of people, networking and all those things, but there you were an employee, I would say. It's not, so when even before starting, it's a very mindful decision to take. I would like to know the journey of the start of the data team.
Sure, See, I think when we realized that we have to do something now, and it's best that we do something that we are good at, we decided that let's actually do something where we can explore the problem spaces around data itself in a bit more detail in this part of the neighborhood. Because I was of the strong view that whatever skills I'd built up with respect to applied big data in the US were, at the end of the day, like rich man's problem statements, because the US tech market is very different, more evolved. The problem of big data had been understood and appreciated by many companies there, whereas Asia is a very different ballgame. Especially at that time, I'm talking 2014. So I said, let's actually not dive deep into creating tech in a specific way. Let's just go and explore. And the best way to explore is just by doing consulting. Right? So that's how TDT was born, as a brand for consulting, not even a company. We not even started a company at that time. We created a brand, and I tongue-in-cheek refer to it as TheDataTeam only because I felt that a lot of the Bay Area startups at that time whom I had worked with as a vendor. They prided themselves in thinking about themselves as the only legitimate data teams of their companies or of that Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Because they thought that only if you had skills of Hadoop, then you can be called as a data engineer.
Data team. Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, why that hubris, right? Why do you feel so superior to others, right? So it was more a tongue-in-cheek reference to that. I intentionally called this the TDT, but for some reason that stuck. And then my wife gave me a target saying, look, in 1 year's time, if you have not lost money in consulting, and if you, let's say, even make 1 lakh of profit, right? Then we can consider this an okay career option.
Oh, okay.
But if in 1 year's time, if you don't do that, then please go back to a regular job. Right? That was the, milestone that she gave me.
1 year time.
1 year time. And turned out in 1 year, we made a profit of 1 crore.
Oh my God. How?
Purely by consulting.
How?
Purely by consulting.
Solving the solution, solving the problems and
we had
data.
We had 2 clients.
Yeah.
And both the clients were paying very well.
How did you get your first 2 clients?
One was word of mouth from one of the database architects at Aster. He had also moved back to India for good. Like he was also not very good at adjusting to the US life like I was. So both of us had moved back around the same time, and he recommended a common, he recommended a startup who later on became a common friend. So they were in the fintech space as well. So they were the first client, and then one of the banks that TheData had worked with. So they wanted to work with me directly because they liked the person more than the company itself. So they continued working with TheData as well, of course, but they wanted to work with me directly. So they said, okay, why don't we get you on board as a consultant?
Oh my God.
That was Standard Chartered Bank at that time.
I know the project we were working.
Yeah, so that worked well. So both of them together took it off, and then even at that time, I think the decision to form a company was not taken. I thought, okay, let me just try doing this.
So you were all alone first when the data team started, correct. And you and your wife both together. Yeah,
correct.
Left the job and started with this.
That's right.
Okay, as a team.
And then that's when I, of course, met Sajid and Sunil and some of the early folks there. Rahul, not sure whether you remember.
Yeah. Yes.
The Spanish individual.
He after we came, he left after that.
Yeah, he had left after that, correct. Yeah. So these are the early people who built TDT at that time. Even at that time, I think we're not intended to form a company. But then I realized that the demand was actually now catching up.
Increasing a lot, yeah.
So people were, and then Stanchart itself came back and they wanted, people to help out with building core parts of the tech by working with their existing vendors, so that they could take some of the designs and the architecture that we were proposing and make it real, right? With engineers who really understood, as opposed to just giving it off to other third-party technology companies who didn't really have a skin in the game. So all of that helped in getting demand. More clients came in, etc. So then that's when the company was formed in early 2015, and then we got the first people hired formally on board, etc. Yeah.
Okay. So, you didn't hire before you got the deals, right?
No.
Oh.
I didn't have I wouldn't have had the guts to do it. To be responsible for somebody else. As it is, I felt responsible for my family, but now to be responsible for somebody else without making the first money would have been very hard.
I took that leap, Ranga. Scared.
I think that's a call you'll have to make.
Yeah. And these 2 projects gave you. So how, during these 2 projects itself, you built your core team, which is Rahul and all those people, and then you started off doing more towards expanding the company, and that's when we got hired.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what kind of problems? What was the vision of the data team?
At that time, I didn't have much of a vision. Sorry, that's the true answer. I think like I said, we wanted to just explore the problems in the data space, and the best way was consulting. So we just kept exploring. It took me a year of seeing that profit. And I knew midway through the second year, which was around 2016, is when I realized I would be making a good amount of profit. And very early on, both my wife and I had decided that we don't need this company to give us money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just needed to give enough to cover our monthly expenses. We had a home of our own, so we didn't have. I mean, that's one of the big expenses usually for a growing family. So we sent our kids to regular private schools, nothing fancy.
Yeah.
So our biggest expenses were already very low.
Huh.
So we didn't need like a big salary. So we consciously decided that both of us will take the least salary in the company, only because we wanted to plow that money, whatever we make, back into the company.
I know.
To keep building it. Right?
Yeah.
That was a bootstrapping model, and I was very clear I didn't want venture capital funding at that time.
Why?
Because I wanted that freedom to narrow down on a problem space of my choosing.
Okay.
As opposed to,
so when venture capital, when they invest in you, what is the difference? Because I have not researched about that.
See, I think firstly, it's very hard to raise venture capital funding if you work in services.
Okay.
Because nobody really wants to invest big money into something that's only going to give them 2x returns or 3x returns.
Okay.
Right? Venture capital investing is fundamentally risky investing. So the reward that they seek is much higher. So as a services company or a consulting company, usually VCs won't invest. It's PEs that invest. And at that time, we were like very, very small. So we didn't want to raise funding from anybody anyway.
Okay.
So we just wanted to bootstrap ourselves from as much as possible with our own money. So initially we thought we will have to put in our own money, but then we realized that the profits were good enough that we could plow that back in without having to put in any more money outside or take debt from outside. So within 2 years, I realized that this was not going to be a scalable model. I can't just keep hiring people and then having people-driven business models, which is what consulting is.
Yeah.
I realized that the problem statement had to be something which had to be solvable using tech, right? So that I can now package that tech and sell it to somebody else. So that part of me decided that the work that we did for a couple of early clients around real-time offer generation for advertising was one of the best ways to make that tech concretized as a product.
Yeah.
That's how Cadenz was born.
Yes.
So back in 2017 is when the initial blueprint for Cadenz and all of that was drawn up, including logo. Like we hired I remember a marketer from outside to come in and consult with us, and like she drew the initial logo for Cadenz and she gave us brand guidelines, and I was like, yeah, why do we need this? But anyway, I thought we should do this.
Yes.
And
it is needed, I guess.
Yeah, it's just good advice, right? I thought, let's follow some of this.
Yeah.
Even though I don't understand all of it now. So we got that in, we got the logo design, we got the motto. We also did some early work with that virtual CMO, or fractional CMO, I should say.
Okay.
To help us design some of the early blog posts and things like that. And I really liked I should say the use cases that came from it, right? So then I started to buy into it, and I started to really feel that this is a problem statement I could pivot the entire company around.
Okay.
So again, not to use bootstrapped, rather not to use external money yet.
Yeah.
But use the bootstrap money to build the product. So that happened in 2017.
From services and being solution oriented, because we used to work on solutioning and all.
Correct.
But the reason why you wanted to create the product was like, instead of scaling and hiring more and more and more people and just providing services, what was the reason why you didn't want to go with that particular model of services?
Okay.
Cadenz, we come for sure.
Yeah, so there were two reasons, right? And one reason is to be able to sustain that level of profitability meant that I would have had to, close down deals on the same order of magnitude as these first two clients.
Yeah.
At least like 3 more times or 4 more times, right?
Yes.
And at that time, we didn't have a sales team per se. Right? I was doing all the sales myself.
Yes.
and even folks like Kaushik had not transitioned to sales yet.
Yeah, Kaushik
Was
then
an engineer.
became the consultant. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was an engineer,
yep, like-
senior engineer. Yeah.
So we didn't have any sales at that time.
Yeah.
And most of what I was getting as leads were through Microsoft as an early partner. So we didn't have any sales per se.
How did you come in touch with Microsoft? You didn't have sales for sure. I knew
Yeah.
that in the beginning.
Yep.
But yeah, and it is a very difficult job to trust someone or who is so skilled, can talk with respect to the company. So it is majorly on the founder's head to do the sales
Correct.
for a longer period
Yep.
of time, I would say. I'm not sure. I have not come across someone, a founder who has delegated. Maybe I'll take that as well as an interview later. But yeah, how did you get in touch with Microsoft?
That happened through, again, luck, because we were out in the market, obviously, as somebody who was Chennai based and very big data focused, very data science focused. There were only 2 or 3 such small startups like us at the time.
Yeah.
So Microsoft happened to be in the drive for hiring and
Those kind of
onboarding those kinds
okay.
of startups, because they were
Okay.
fed up of working with only the big guys,
Uh-huh.
because the big guys used to say no to projects, right?
Okay.
Whereas they were pursuing opportunities left, right, and center. And there was this emerging demand that every company wanted to do something with big data at that time.
Yeah.
So they were onboarding a lot of partners. And Sanjeev at that time, Sanjeev Sharma,
Yes.
whom Basha also, of course, alluded to, he came on a call in Chennai, I think, and he was just interested in talking to all startups. I think he left word through various circles, and one of my clients at that time said, hey, this guy's coming in, do you want to meet him?
Oh, like that. Wow.
It just happened that way.
That's great.
And then we met and we hit it off, and then I said, yeah, I'm very keen to, get
And
some.
that's when he also recommended to have a PDM. in
Yeah,
the company.
he recommended that, but it took me a while to, understand the nuances of the role,
Okay.
because I was more keen on doing it myself. Like, I'm the kind of person who strongly believes that I can't lead somebody if I have not done that work myself.
Yeah, true.
Right?
True.
Because otherwise it just comes across as fake.
Yes.
So I prefer to,
do it for yourself.
do it.
Yeah.
And then
I think that is a kind of every entrepreneur should go through this or goes through this, I would
Yeah.
say. And it is the right thing to do. Until unless you're not playing that role, how are you able to give that particular process to someone?
Exactly.
How do you know that?
How do you know?
Yeah, it's doing justice to that role as well.
Yeah. Otherwise you'll just be a manager, right? And
Yeah, you don't know exactly what's happening.
Correct.
And you have to trust. Yeah, completely agree to that. Yeah.
So I did that role myself and to figure it out. And then that's when I realized, yes, there are parts of this which are very much delegatable.
Yeah,
I can teach that to somebody, and
got it.
for them it'll be something new. Okay, anyway, that was one reason, which is, I didn't get any large clients like that to justify the profitability. Going back to your question on
Yeah, sorry.
why
yeah,
didn't I
Yeah.
pursue services. The second part of the reason is people in this space that I was hiring, people like you, naturally wanted, more and more salary, right? That's very much
True.
par for the course, right? And people at the junior level almost had the expectation that they would get 50-60% salary hikes every year, which I think is justified because the market was in very high demand. And to me, if I were to run a consulting company like that, it had to follow exactly the kind of pyramid model of work and profitability that the big four have, or the folks like McKinsey have, where the topmost, people in the pyramid, they, are able to command a lot more premium, but they also eat a lot more profits. They pass on the profits to the next person, etc., etc. It's got that kind of hierarchical model,
Oh,
and I was strongly against it because I
Okay.
felt that was not the right way to build a team,
okay.
because it encourages the wrong kind of incentives.
Yes.
Whereas I had always, was of the view that if I were to bring a person on my team, that person should not have had done that exact same role before, because I wanted to, give that ability to learn
Okay.
and the opportunity to learn in my company. And in return, obviously that meant that I can hire them for a lesser premium
Got
than
it.
somebody who's already done that before.
Yeah, got it.
Right? So that way it's a win-win situation.
Yes, true.
So that's why I felt that the person that I bring on board for a role, like should be somebody that I can teach. Like there needs to be that malleability, flexibility to learn, the hunger to learn.
Yeah.
At the same time, they would continuously keep learning, right? They would keep challenging me to say, hey, give me more of this kind of work, or give me new experiences, give me new things to do. So what I realized in the consulting world is there are only so many different new things to do, beyond which you have to get into sales, right? You have to get into pre-sales.
Yeah.
And I didn't find as many engineers in that company at that time who were, in my view, capable of being in front of clients directly.
Oh, yes.
There were very, very few.
Yes, true.
Who were able to do that.
Yes.
So the only other way, and I didn't want to grow as a hierarchy, like a pyramid.
Yeah.
So the only other way I could justify growing salaries is to move into product.
Okay, got it. And that's how.
And then eventually raise funding.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could justify salary raises, right?
Got it. And that's when you pivoted.
That's when I started to move towards product.
Cadenz. Yeah.
I wanted to see what, and I was actually trying out 2 products at the time. I would say 3 product ideas at that time, but Cadenz was the most mature. And then by 2018, I realized that, this is something that I can really bet my horses on. It had not reached any significant revenue at that time. So I thought now is a great time to go and look for fundraise. So, that was my first attempt at fundraising. Yeah.
Before we go to that part, when you are building a product, Ranga, it requires a lot of time, effort, investment, because obviously when you plan to pivot in the product side, it means that, you are going to take less opportunities when it comes to services.
Yep.
Because you have to put your energy at one place and you're putting energy over here. That's the choice you made. So when you're putting less energy here on services, means lesser deals, means lesser profit, and the salary still you have to give. How did it, was it stressful in the first place?
Yeah, very stressful. In the beginning, I think it didn't have that much of an impact because, like I said, the profits we made in the first couple of years, even in the 3rd year, we never took it out anyway. Like we didn't pay dividends to any of us or whatever. I kept plowing it back in or kept it in the bank, knowing that this kind of a day would happen. So when 2018 came around, which is when I first started to look for funding, it was more a case of planning for the future.
Yeah.
It was not a case that I needed funding then. It was more a case of exactly planning for the case when I can turn down services opportunities so that I can focus on product. But what was happening was that the Microsoft engine was really powering up.
Yes.
Right? There's a lot of very interesting opportunities there, which I could not say no to. At the same time, I wanted to build a lot more into the product. So the way I was trying to do that is by balancing out the allocation of people. Right?
Few for the product, few.
But not in a way that was dedicated. I couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
So whenever people used to get some downtime from projects, they would do some contributions here.
Yeah.
But the lead engineer or the architect will broadly remain the same.
Yes.
Right? So that the overall continuity can kind of remain the same.
Yes.
But in hindsight, that I don't think that was the right strategy. I think it would have been better to just stay laser focused on raising funding immediately and then having a dedicated team.
Got it.
But instead, I was trying to, get the best of both worlds, so to speak.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a different problem. The fundraise was more a case of wanting to just explore what the market thinks of a need for a product like this.
Okay.
I talked to an investment banker, talked to a few other investors as well. The good part was that I got some encouraging, guidance from all of them saying, look, big data is the, it's a fantastic problem statement. India's a, emerging market in this space because the data is huge given the population. So building a product like this makes a lot of sense. But because you have, bootstrapped your way all this while, we're not able to, give you a seed kind of funding because you've already built a
Some funds
good
and
amount of
boost-
revenue,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And you're not yet at the stage where you're Series A because your revenue for Cadenz is low.
Okay.
Like it was at that time, it was non-existent. It was
Yeah,
very small.
yeah.
So why don't you take it up to a certain notch and then come back and then we'll be very happy to fund, right? That's the kind of
Okay.
rough guidance
Got it.
I got. I said, yeah, why not? Sure.
Huh.
Because I felt confident enough that I could make 2 or 3 large enterprise deals happen
With this particular
with,
product.
with,
Yeah.
with Cadenz itself directly. And I can come back and try to,
Get the funding.
get
Yeah,
VC
yeah.
funding. So that's what I then started to do
Yeah. got it.
dedicatedly. And that's when I started to, consciously turn down deals, right? That
Okay.
happened from 2019.
Oh.
And if you remember, we started to work on DPCL as one of the first,
Yeah.
based on your IOCL experience,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that was one of the first deals where I, started to construct it as a Cadenz deal, even though it wasn't Cadenz in the beginning.
Okay.
It had a lot of Cadenz elements later on. Globe Telecom, that Kaushik
Okay.
closed, etc. So these were things which were now lining up, right? So to
Okay.
speak. And then COVID happened.
Oh, yes.
COVID was such a stressful time, unbelievably stressful time. I think the biggest
It
reason
was stressful for everyone.
for
but
everyone,
still,
yeah. But it was stressful for me in so many ways. And this goes back to your question, right? And how do you make ends meet? Like, how was it stressful in respect to paying salaries and things like
it
that? Right?
just stops your creativity, or those stress and that blocks your progress. That is what I feel like. I experience that
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you go through bootstrapping, a lot of
Yeah.
time and energy goes in
Absolutely,
handling that
yeah.
stress.
And a lot of energy goes into operational matters and things like that.
Ah,
Even though, like at that time, we had a great COO in Prabhakar. He was
Yeah.
very good at managing things. Even then, I think ultimately, as a bootstrap company promoter, both my wife and I felt that it was our prerogative to ensure that the people in the company had, enough to sustain themselves,
yeah.
right? So when COVID happened, I opened up to few people in the company, and we started to have a very regular monthly meeting.
Okay.
Like prior to that, it was just a couple of us who would meet on a weekly basis to assess the current situation in the ground, right?
Yeah.
Like sales, targets, revenue, HR, etc.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Pooja was there, Prabhakar was there.
Yes.
To a certain extent, sales leaders. I mean, maybe Kaushik was there for a couple of.
Yes.
But then once COVID happened, or once the early signs that COVID was about to happen was
Yeah.
visible to everybody.
In 2020 March, I
Like,
guess it was.
yeah, March is when it was very public,
Out. But yeah.
Jan
yeah,
onwards.
Jan onwards, yes.
because I had at that time decided to go to Singapore because our Singapore sales guy at that time was really bad. He was bad on morale, bad on sales. So I said, okay, let me do something about it. And that was my second time hiring somebody. The first guy was very good on people and managerial things, but he couldn't get any sales done.
Okay.
So second time also unlucky. So I said, okay, let's not make the mistake the third time. Let me do sales myself
Yeah.
in Singapore for the ASEAN market, and then let's
Yeah.
figure out what works
What
there,
works? Yeah. Got it.
and then make it a playbook and then
Yeah.
hire somebody. That's what I thought I'll do. And then in the meantime, I convinced Kaushik also to go there.
Yeah.
So and I told Kaushik as well that some of what you can do can translate into sales leader
Yes.
material.
Yes.
I think he was also a little early in his sales career, so I think he also wanted to just take one at a time, right?
Yeah.
So both of us were in Singapore at that time. So I'd moved there, and I decided to move there in Jan.
Okay.
And then this COVID scare started to happen, and around the same time, I decided that we should just be open about this to everybody,
Yeah.
right? So initially, there were a few of us, much
Got it.
beyond just the leadership of the company,
Okay.
with whom we started to discuss very frankly what was happening.
Okay.
Like prior to that, there was plans of meeting ends by doing certain things.
Yeah.
Right. Naturally, turning down deals meant that we were running short of cash in certain
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
So in some cases, both both my wife and I, we decided we'll pump in money,
Oh, yeah.
right?
That adds a lot of stress. Again.
That adds stress again, because now you start to look at situations where your money is gone down the
Yeah,
drain.
yeah.
And you never know when you're going to get it back.
Yes.
At one point, we were also thinking about mortgaging our house and
Oh
things
my
like
God.
that, right?
Oh my God. That is
Um,
scary. Yeah.
And by the time our second one had been born, and
Okay.
so things were, adding up in terms of complexity. And then COVID came, and then we, we started sharing with everybody. In the
Everybody
company.
isn't from the to the entry level, like having the meeting.
No, so we didn't want to scare everybody in the company, but we were consciously not limiting it to only like 3 or 4 people.
Okay.
It was like a good 10,
got it.
10 to
got
12
it.
people, including some of the leads. That look, this is the situation, and this is the cash flow that we have currently. These
Got
are the
it.
visible deals. These are the deals which were supposed to happen, which have not happened. And these are the projects which are currently in flight. We see a strong risk that this will get cancelled
Okay.
because of COVID, right? Including the big names like Globe and so on. And that's one of the best decisions I've taken
To
in hindsight,
open up in the
to open up. The
Yeah.
level of support that came from the team was just amazing. Because earlier I thought this is too much stress I'm passing on,
Yeah.
right, to others, and they themselves are feeling stress in their homes because of COVID. Like some of them have aged parents.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know whether you remember, a couple of our colleagues had family members pass away during that stressful time. So I was debating for a long time whether I should, long time meaning mentally long time, whether I should open up and
Yeah.
get people to partake in decision making. But then I think that's one lesson I learned, that we should never underestimate the power of team dynamics, right?
Yeah.
And the power that trust can bring to the table. Because what the transparency brought to me was the trust that people had in me, right? They said that, look, we trust you in your decision making, but you've got to make these decisions. That's the message I got from people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they all came up with ideas. Some of them came up with really nice ideas. But at the end of the day, the message was, look, you take the right decision. We'll back you
Yeah.
with whatever the decision is. You
Which
don't
is
need to
super-
worry that I'll
Yeah.
second guess you.
Got it.
So one of the decisions I took at that time was leadership will take a salary cut so that the people below will not need to take a salary cut,
Got it.
because salary was everything at that time.
Yeah.
And what's more so, we could not afford to give bonuses,
Yeah.
the year-end bonus at that time. I'd offered to convert that into equity.
Okay.
And I thought that was a very tough decision for somebody to swallow, especially people who are dependent on bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
But again, kudos to them. All of them came back and said, absolutely okay with this line of approach. Don't worry about me. I can take that up.
Oh wow, that
And
is so nice.
That was so reinforcing, right? Saying,
Yeah.
look, these are people who have got my back.
Oh my God, yes, it makes a
And-
lot of difference.
And in a couple of cases, rather, I told all of them that, look, if you feel like this is the right time for you to make a career move because you feel that staying with us is too risky to continue, I'm okay with that. Like, I wouldn't hold it against you. I can even help you with the right company to move on to. I think there's only one individual or 2 individuals who tried because they generally felt it was risky, and I helped them move on.
Got it.
Everybody else said, look, I'm here to tide over these difficult times, and let's figure it out later, right?
Okay.
At a later point, I know you'll take care of us.
Yeah.
Whatever that meant, right?
Oh my
Right?
God. Oh
And
my God. It gives.
That was a those small shoots of green
Yeah.
in that very dark period that was there from COVID 1 to COVID 2.
It gives a lot of confidence as well as the feeling you feel relieved, like your people are with you.
Exactly. And I think that's when you realize that you can make a lot of judgments which are wrong, or I would say suboptimal, but none of that becomes a challenge which is insurmountable if you've got the right mindset, right, or right environment. And the opposite is true as well, right? Even the simplest of decisions can be looked at as, why did he have to do this, right? With a negative light, if you don't have the trust of the individual, if you don't have the trust of the team.
True. So true.
So if you look at, for instance, some of the news around startups today, right?
Yeah.
And so much negativity around people, stealing from their own treasury, fudging their books,
Yeah.
cheating investors, leaving their employees high and dry. And like Savita keeps joking, my wife keeps joking, right? We did none of that. And we still would not call ourselves a successful company, right? In the sense of what media would like to portray. But then I think we can count our blessings, right? We said,
Yeah.
we decided to go the bootstrap route.
You did.
We were successful in taking along a team which went along the journey. And they saw an exit at the end of the day, right? The exit was a successful acquisition.
Yeah.
That's the best I could hope for.
Yeah. As in, when did you feel that, you should go with acquisition? I mean, and to be honest, I have always heard about it or read about it. Would like to get some more lights on.
Read about it, meaning like the reasons for the acquisition, you're saying?
Be it reasons as well as the process, or consider a newbie who has just started business and as in how it works, at what stage it works, why acquisitions works, and how whether it's good, it's not good.
Sure. In my case, I think I have to continue with the VC funding story, right?
Yeah.
So
the Cadenz was used in different I would say projects, BPCL, Globe, and that's how you got revenue marked for it.
Correct.
And was it a part of Series A?
Exactly. So I was gearing towards, trying to achieve that milestone that the guidance had given me, right? Or the guidance had shown me. So, in my mind, I thought, okay, I had to reach $1 million in revenue, or recurring revenue with Cadenz. And with that shows enough traction for people to be able to justify a Series A investment. And through COVID, obviously there were a lot of challenges, but then we did what we could with what we had. And fast forward to, I think, 21, late 21. That's when the pathway towards $1 million revenue of recurring revenue, that is with Cadenz, was very clear.
Okay, wow.
Right? And that year, at the close of that year, we would have reached that milestone. And so from 21, July, August, September onwards, I decided that let's start looking for funding again, right? So I went back to the same doors that I knocked at that time and said, look, hey, 4 years back you told me, or 3 years back you told me this advice. I've executed on that now. Now let's talk money. And that was a very disillusioning moment for me.
Okay.
And the reason is, none of those VCs who had talked to then,
committed on.
They were serious about it looks like. I think they just told what they did to just get me off their back.
Oh my God.
That was the reality.
Oh my God.
Right?
That was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is, right? They wanted to be polite. They didn't want to say no. So they came up with an excuse to say no, and then they led me down something else. I wasn't unhappy with the fact that Cadenz has reached a revenue. Obviously, that was good, right? So went back to the investment banker. He really tried to work with me to make a story which gelled well. Introduced me to a couple of investors. Long story short, I think what I realized then was most VCs in India, at least, did not have an appetite for a bootstrap services company to transform into a product company which had this kind of a revenue. They were only able to look at a cookie cutter approach to product building, which is something that they can relate to as having done before. And in the Indian context, all SaaS companies get benchmarked for good or bad against Freshworks.
Okay, got it.
Right? Because that was a poster child of how a SaaS company needs to grow and went public. And obviously, it's a fantastic success story, not just for the SaaS ecosystem, but for the broader tech ecosystem in India. And so all VCs, for good or for bad, again, use the same kind of playbook to gauge every SaaS company. And where Freshworks grew is very different from how, let's say, even another successful SaaS company grows, right?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Zoho
Yes.
is pretty much the opposite of what how Freshworks grew.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
completely bootstrapped, and they took much longer, but they are much more successful in my view.
Yeah, yeah.
By my definition of success, right? I think that kind of an argument does not fall very well with
Got
VCs
it.
who are looking for a very specific way in which to invest. At least back in 21, that was the case. So then the investment banker introduced me to a couple of other clients of his.
Mm-hmm.
So then we started to work with them as direct vendors.
Okay.
And a couple of those conversations went very well.
Uh-huh.
And in the meanwhile, I started to source external funding. Like I thought, okay, India VCs will not appreciate this. Then there were two VCs which were lined up from outside, one from the US, one from Singapore.
Okay.
Both of them showed a lot of interest in our way of doing things.
Okay.
They found it
Wow.
really valuable to think that there's no dilution that's happened before. It's all bootstrapped.
Huh.
So that's good for them because they can now make a stronger bet, right?
Yes.
Without having to worry about others in the cap table, etc. So all that worked well. And then I think COVID wave 2 happened.
Oh shit. Yes.
And that delayed the fundraise for the US investor.
Oh.
So they themselves get funds from others, right?
Yeah.
Called as limited partners or whatever. So that fundraise got delayed for them. So they could not give a commitment to us. The Singapore investor, he had a challenge with this parent company. The parent company was a telecom company. They came back and said, look, we don't want any of your non-telco business.
Oh.
Right? Whereas some of our biggest revenue was non-telecom.
Got it.
Obviously,
Yes.
Globe was there, but also
Yeah.
some of the others were there. So now I was stuck in a three-way, I should say, trilemma, right? One is a VC who's very interested in the product business, but he doesn't have the money yet.
Yeah.
He says, wait for some more time.
The other one is
Another
telecom.
VC who says that, look, I don't want your other businesses. So give me only your telecom business, that too only that portion multiplied at a certain valuation, which I wasn't very keen on. And then the third approach was one of these clients that I was working with. They came back and said, look, we really like what you do. Why don't you merge with us?
Oh. Okay.
That was Lentra.
Lentra. Okay.
So now I had to just make a decision based on these three. And the COVID wave 2 was an issue that really squeezed the next layer of funding, or not funding, I should say, deal making even more. Like some of the deals that we were expecting to close or to progress.
Those were the service deals you're talking
Service
about?
deals.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because that engine needed to run, right? If there's no
Yeah.
engine,
Yeah.
there's no money
then-
to fund it again, right?
Yes. And
So that engine was getting squeezed even more. Existing projects where we had a multi-year commitment, they were just paused.
Oh my God.
And so at that time, it said, okay, it's more prudent to align with one of these two approaches. So coming back to your question,
It was like a blessing which came, I guess. The client was so interested in everyone.
Yeah, I would say there would be other clients like that too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I
true.
wouldn't say it's a lucky thing. It's certainly luck that the timing worked out the way it did.
It works out
Yeah.
with good people. Ranga.
Yeah, I mean, serendipity works out in
Yeah.
mysterious ways, right?
Yes.
If you put in hard work and
Yeah.
whatnot.
True.
Yeah, but the good part is, I think the effect of how we looked at the opportunities on the table, it made a lot of sense for us to merge forces and focus on a domain.
Yeah.
Because the message I was getting was also that if by being domain focused, we can, solve like 10 or 20 clients' problems
True.
at a much faster time frame, it can mean better, valuations in the downstream, right?
Yes.
So that was my next milestone that I was going to execute towards, because VCs are not willing to buy the story at that time.
Yeah.
So I was starting to mentally do that anyway.
Yeah.
And then these offers came in,
Okay.
and I said, yeah, why not?
So that's
makes a
why
lot of
fintech
sense.
was the
Yeah,
domain.
that's when the between the Singapore offer and this offer, we were evaluating, and then this offer made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And said, okay, yeah, why not we merge forces with Lentra?
Got it.
So I think acquisitions or mergers make sense when you've evaluated what your pathway ahead is,
Uh-huh.
and if you can grow independently, you should grow independently.
Okay.
Right?
What were the good things about the merger and doing it in a bootstrap mode for such a longer period, and then mergers will have their own pros and cons.
Yeah.
So what were the things which you felt like I would say not the bad, but unlikely kind of.
Sure, maybe I can address a slightly different part of the question.
Yeah.
I think what could have been improved, maybe.
Yeah, what could have been improved?
Maybe a right way to say it. I think the good part about the merger is obviously it gives us, it gave all of us a narrower domain to work on instead of like
Working
three different industries and things like that. So that helped in, narrowing down the product landscape, allowing us to have a strategy which is more long lasting.
Yeah.
The second part is obviously the cash runway allows us to plan ahead and stick with the plan, not have to worry about
the cash flow
or the overnight stress of dealing with expenditures and things like that.
Oh yes.
And the third part is it also gives us a bigger vehicle to execute against, which means in this case existing pool of clients, right, which we're already working with the parent company. We can go after the same clients and say, look, we're part of the same family now. You should look at real time customer intelligence from Cadenz, etc. So those are all the good things. I think things that could have been improved. I think one of the biggest things that while I was prepared for mentally, but I still could not be adequately prepared for, was the change in culture. See, as a bootstrap company, I had given my entirety, so to speak, right? The entire soul and everything else to TDT, right?
Yeah.
To build it in a certain way, right? And in most cases, these things don't happen by plan, right? It happens just by sheer hours of hard work.
Yes.
Like even
that
culture gets built that way, right? It's not as though you plan 5 years from now.
It is so important to build that, because you never know, today you are at the heights, tomorrow you need that particular team. So how you're treating your people,
correct,
the way they show it to you, right?
Exactly.
Completely, yeah.
Exactly. Culture is something that it builds with small instances, right? It's not something that you do a leadership meeting in some offsite and come back and say, hey, we have culture. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I think that culture, which was so assiduously built, I could very much from like month one itself see that that's going to clash.
Okay.
Head on against the culture that the parent company had. It's not to say that culture was bad or our culture was good.
It's just a different
cultures.
Yeah, different cultures.
And different cultures means that suddenly now you're shaking people up, right? In ways that they don't want to be shaken.
Yeah.
Like people have a certain, rhythm to how they work.
Yes.
And they get used to that rhythm.
Yes.
The moment now you say that the rhythm is no longer the same and it's completely different now, not just that it's slightly different, people's work ethic gets affected.
Yes.
Right? Suddenly they start questioning who's actually, calling the shots. Right? They start questioning, will work that I do matter anymore? Motivation starts getting affected, right? And that's the part which I was shocked by, that I could not control the way I thought I could control it.
Okay.
And which meant that a lot of people left.
Oh.
People that I wanted to, stay on and partake in the longer benefits of the acquisition and contribute back. I couldn't convince them to stay.
Oh.
Because
because of the changes.
The change in cultural difference is just too much.
Oh. Okay.
Especially people who had been with me from the early on.
It's not easy.
It wasn't easy for them at all.
Yeah. To adjust with that. Okay.
Yeah. So that part could have been improved or could have been done differently.
Got it.
And I think the other part is, of course, it always takes multiple, parties to come together in a marriage, right?
Yeah.
Like we know very well. In this case as well, it's the same. It's not just, it can't be just one or two parties making efforts to make a relationship successful. So, in hindsight, I think that could have been improved, right? Getting not just consensus, but also concrete responsibilities divided up to make sure that the overall experience, the overall outcomes are successful for everybody.
Oh.
That could have been improved, certainly.
So, okay. So the merger, majorly the responsibilities also of each and every person, how it will be or what?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because it's a marriage at the end of the day, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So very much like,
wow.
Multiple parties have to come together, right?
Okay.
They all have to cooperate
Yes,
and
yes,
work
yes.
on it.
That requires a lot of discussion planning.
A lot of discussion, a lot of planning,
How do you cut off the time? Like, this discussions, then productive time.
In fact, I would say discussions is probably the easier thing to do. Even with egos, it's easier. But getting things done is the hard part, right? Especially when egos are involved. Because when people have other incentives coming into play, I think they tend to say one thing in discussions and do something else when it comes to execution.
Yeah.
Or they don't have the gumption to follow through.
Got it.
To truly execute on what it means. And then it becomes really a waste of time and waste of resources, because I'm, like, for instance, moving in a certain direction, that person is moving in a different direction, and we don't really know about it until some more time goes by, because what we discussed on was something else.
Yeah.
And that's a waste
that
of time,
happens.
right?
And that's a frequent thing which happens when you're into entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Sure.
Got it. So what made you start? Now you're working. So, there is this Lentra where you are a co-founder and, CDO, and now it is completely focused on fintech. You started off with something which is for the NGOs again.
Yeah. I should correct something that you said. I'm no longer fully associated with Lentra.
Partly associated.
Yeah, I'm still a stakeholder and a co-founder there. I'd moved on last year. Yeah, so I went back to scratching that itch. So, okay.
So that itch was there since the beginning.
That was there since the beginning.
You were letting it go, but still that itch was not letting you go.
That itch was there. In fact, I would say that itch has been my motivation as well as my gratification, justification, everything, right? So it's so much so that even in some of our darkest times, at home, we used to justify certain decisions, like, for instance, pumping more money when we didn't ourselves have money, where we, like, for instance, take loans ourselves in our personal name and give it to the company for salaries. Those kinds of decisions we were able to justify only because of that itch.
Okay.
As a way, and we genuinely thought that, look, even when COVID had come, when most other companies were laying off, us not laying off is a way for us to do good.
Yeah.
At least to a limited set of people, maybe not like entire society.
But still, yes,
like
yes.
These 70 odd individuals who call the work with us their career, right? Who are making a living. We didn't lay off anybody. And our way of giving back, our way of making sure that, they are able to continue with their livelihoods is something that we felt justifies whatever decisions we take. So that itch was scratched to an extent at that time. And then it came back in a big way towards last year. When I said, look, I need to do something more. I've taken this Lentra acquisition to a certain level where it can operate without me. And that's how I moved on, like when I moved on as well, saying it doesn't require my presence anymore. Please go ahead and make it successful. I'm available as an advisor. But the ditch now, again, as manifested as a way for me to try to translate something that tech can provide, especially with AI, with the advances that AI is given, in a field where tech is never, thought about front and center, like in the non-profit world. And most tech vendors also don't really focus on non-profit because fundamentally, by definition, they are non-profit. They don't have too much money to spend. So I thought it'll be a great opportunity. It's been slow, maybe not as slow as what I saw back in 2011 with e-governance. It's still much slower than definitely startups. But at the end of the day, I think it's starting to become
the slowness is that the permissions and the processes
no, I think it's just that at really the field level, and when I say field, not pre-sales, not sales, I mean when people solve their daily problems, right? Having to worry about human rights, have to worry about livelihoods, right? At that level, they don't use tech.
Yeah.
willingly, right?
Yes.
Whatever tech they use happens, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
And that too
very
very
easy.
little.
It's
Yeah.
frictionless.
Yes.
Like if you call WhatsApp as tech, for instance, people use WhatsApp all the time,
Yeah.
but they don't use WhatsApp because it's WhatsApp, right?
Okay. Yeah.
They use it because they want to talk to somebody.
Yes, as a messaging or
And
what-
WhatsApp as a technology from Meta is frictionless.
Yes.
So
Completely.
most tech that's getting used widely is frictionless, and it's used without the tech being the brand, right?
Yes.
People just use it.
Yes.
So people, especially in non-profit, what I've realized is that the tech has to be that invisible
Mm-hmm.
for it to create an impact.
Yes.
And unless the tech reaches that level, there's a lot of work that needs to happen, and that lot of work translates as learnings, right? And that's what slowness is, right?
Okay.
So I'm learning what it takes to, for instance, take one of the problem statements I'm working on is, convert a manual of human rights into something that can be given as instrumented information in the hands of field workers who are in the space of human rights, but they won't understand tools like ChatGPT or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They don't even care about websites for that
Yes.
matter.
Yes.
Whereas in the tech side, I'm trying to use something called as RAGs or retrieval augmented generation
Okay.
with generative AI. But who cares about it?
Yeah. At the end.
At the end, they just need information.
Yes.
And they need information in Tamil, for instance, right?
Oh.
How is that going to be visible to them?
Okay.
So these are the learnings from me. It's slow. I think it's slow from my perspective. But the good part is now, I think I've reached a stage in my life where I can afford to be slow and be deliberate about it, right?
Yeah.
Not be stressed out about things,
Okay.
but do what it takes for ensuring that the tech reaches the right audience. So I'm sure it's going to
Okay.
take some more time to reach the level of gratification that I need. But I've also become a little more, I think, mature that I don't need instant gratification anymore. Yeah.
Patience.
Patience, exactly. Yeah, correct.
Wow. Ranga, what you would have done, I won't say differently, your advice to the people who are into early stage of this thing, like, I'm not finding words in terms of kind of like, if you are the one who is doing in the bootstrap mode, and do you have to give that particular time limit to yourself to make things work, or else you get completely sloshed? Like, what are the learnings or key learnings that these are the things people who are going into being a entrepreneur should take care of, or the learnings which you had, maybe you would have done it differently?
I think there are many. How would I summarize?
Three or
See,
four?
definitely, I would say to one of the things that you just alluded to, don't close out options.
Okay.
Right? I think that's been my lifelong mantra. Keep as many options as possible open, because you never know when you need to exercise. Because at the end of the day, what is freedom? Freedom is just having choice.
Yeah.
If you never had choice, you never had freedom.
Yes.
So by having choices, you are actually giving yourself freedom.
Yes.
You never know when you want to exercise that freedom. And I think the journey of entrepreneurship is a journey of unknowns, fundamentally.
Yes.
So when you eventually want to decide and you have that freedom, at that time it will feel like a luxury. So never, let go of options willingly. Obviously, but there'll be times when you'll have to judge and you'll have to take a course of action. And in most such cases, these big decisions don't come with some background music like they show in Bollywood and all, right? It just happens. And then later on, you'll realize, man, that was a very critical moment. And for whatever reason, I chose this. And I think what leaving options on the table still open allows you to do is to defer those kinds of moments, right? So you don't have to rush through those big moments without even knowing about it and without having that much information about the options, right? By leaving those options on the table, by delaying some of those decisions, you potentially become wiser. You you have more information at your calling, so you can make a better optimal decision. You'll never make the best decision, but you'll make a better decision.
Got it.
So I think that's probably the biggest learning, that always keep your options open.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you shy away from
Okay.
decisions. Obviously, you'll have to take decisions as well. And entrepreneurship is also about taking decisions left, right, and center. And in most cases, you won't have another person to, talk to.
Oh,
You just have to decide, and then you'll have this self-doubt nagging you every day, right? Hey, did I do the right thing there? But you'll never know the answer to that. You just have to make peace and move on.
true.
You have to be very sure about yourself.
But I think, do you feel that you are at the right place? Because if you were on the services side or services front, you would still be in the position where, thinking about the revenue generation, closing deals, creating a pyramid model. But then you pivoted to being a product-based company, and then which then got converted into acquisition and merger with Lentra, and now you are in the position where you are following your gut, or I would say purpose, which was long pending, and you are again back to that purpose. So do you think, is it your choices, I would say, or is it all planned by the universe?
I don't think these were all my plan A choices, I would say.
Yeah.
Right. I think it just happened.
Uh-huh.
If I were to change, maybe there are many things I could have changed, but it'll be unfair to say I'm not happy with where I am right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's partly my nature as well, that I make peace with whatever is given to me.
Okay.
I'm not a person who cribs about, every
but
situation.
it is a
right?
beautiful journey. In fact, the best part about what you're doing is, and I'm literally so proud of and so happy to see, is you're working on your purpose. What you always wanted in different phases. It has come, gone, but now you are again on it. So until unless I keep saying this, that you go through the similar kind of problems or challenges. It will come in phases until you accomplish that. And so I guess whatever happens for a reason, in a way that, you were meant to do what you're doing right now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm just being greedy and scratching the itch, right? Like, what do you do when something...
So that's what I have become, greedy and scratching my itch. That's why I'm into this journey. And sometimes I wonder why. Why? Because there is so much of chaos, but I'm loving every part of it, because the kind of decisions you have to make when you are into entrepreneurship journey versus when you are working, there's a big difference. The overwhelming situations are completely different. The stress is completely different, and how much you handle stress and still walk through it and make a name of which gives you happiness more than anyone else. So that matters, right? And
absolutely, yeah.
So whatever happens for a reason, and that's all, Ranga. I'm so happy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for listening as well. For what it's worth.
It just gives me a lot of learnings in terms of, even I have started with Bootstrap, and there are so many things and perspective, the guidance you took from one person, and because of which, as in someone just, the VPs, I would say, they just wanted to get off, and that's why they gave certain guidance, and you took that. Our brain, I don't know what it picks. And then it picks, and we work towards it, and something unfolds. So many learnings from you are about how did you build? The major part is the culture part, about the solutions. Ranga has spent years, I would say 2 decades. And so many times you used to work day and night, not only for the company. And then you made a decision in terms of, let's be good at something, and whatever we are good at, and let's just start off. And you started off, and on the go, having the core team, and not even the core team, even I don't know whether we were the part of the core team or not, but the way the culture was at the data team, I have not seen that kind of culture. I've seen that kind of culture in my company now.
Sure. I'm glad.
Yeah. And majorly why you do what you do. So at the end, there's a purpose to everything, and I guess you are pursuing your purpose. You have done a lot in data and you have helped so many people, but at the end, that particular nudge which was there since the beginning, it's there till now, and you're now working towards your nudge. So
Yeah, and maybe I should just also add that some part of it also is what's allowed me to give back to my alma mater and
to the
teach their-
society. Yeah,
teaching to the
even
students.
to the students, you're like
Exactly. That's also part of the itch, but that's not the full itch. Yeah.
Wow. So I
Yeah.
sometimes feel that I should also go to my college and then teach. But
That's a great way to give back.
Part-time professor part works, like once in a month, once in two.
No. So
You
my
have to-
course is offered as part of an online degree.
Okay.
In fact, 2 of my courses are offered, and that's always on. Like every batch of students that's coming into the program, they go through this.
And did you
option.
record it? Like
Yeah, it's already recorded, and
Okay.
then we give like office hours.
Oh,
All lecturers, we give office hours for the students to ask questions and clear doubts, and we conduct exams and all of that. That's like a regular course. It's just that it's conducted online.
okay. So there's a community in IIT Madras, like
Yeah, it's a fully fledged bachelor's in data science program.
Okay.
You get a BS degree at the end of it.
Wow. That is something which is amazingly good. Like
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to meet so many people. In fact, one of the students I met recently, he was part of Operation Sindoor in the armed forces. So he's just taken
God,
he's just retired.
Operation Sindoor.
Yeah, he's just retired and he's now taking my course as well. I'm like, wow, it's such an honor to meet people like that, right? Retired finance professionals who are 70 plus, as well as college students who are doing a degree in some other college. They're also taking this as a way to enhance their resume. So it's a great way to meet so many people, and I feel very lucky again to have that opportunity to contribute back.
Yeah. That is something which is beyond money. Money cannot buy that
Yeah,
all.
cannot.
That kind of thing. Beautiful. Even I would want to do that for the colleges, maybe from where I have
Yeah,
studied.
exactly. Whatever you're good at, you should absolutely.
Yeah, but there's so many things, Ranga. Which one to focus on?
Yeah, you got to go back to your itch.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's what the conversation was about: culture, about building from scratch, about acquisition, about that calling with Rangarajan Vasudevan, who is now the co-founder of not only Lentra but also doing something for crazy, I would say, in tech for the society. The non-profitable society. And if you like this conversation, please like, share, subscribe for what it really takes. Thank you so much.